LinkedIn sells itself as a professional social networking site, but let's be honest, how many people actually use LinkedIn for the networking bit? Not as nearly as many as should. A lot of clients I've worked with set up their LinkedIn site and then forget about it. If this is you, you are definitely missing out on a great opportunity to expand your professional network. Stay tuned to learn more about how to effectively use LinkedIn for what it was created for, to network. For the best job search and career advice, please hit the subscribe button below. I post new videos every Monday and Thursday. Hello and welcome to my channel. I'm Kelly, a career coach and professional development specialist. I've spent the last 2 decades mentoring job seekers through the application process. Today, I'm going to give you some insight into how to use LinkedIn to network, specifically how to network with recruiters. I've worked with thousands of job seekers, and the advice I'm going to give you today has helped many of them to reach out to recruiters through LinkedIn to make professional connections. And in many cases, this has helped them form relationships that have led to job offers. Okay, let's get started. There are nearly 600,000 LinkedIn users globally, but only about 40% of LinkedIn members access the site on a daily basis. This is a shame because 90% of recruiters regularly use it to evaluate job candidates or actively pursue hires when they have an open position. LinkedIn's value as a networking tool, particularly for job placement purposes, was validated by a study which found 122 million people were interviewed for positions as a direct result of a connection made on LinkedIn. Unfortunately, a lot of people forget LinkedIn until they decide to start looking for a new job. Are you one of these people? I'm curious, how do you use LinkedIn? Do you only use it when you're looking for a job and then forget about it the rest of the time? Comment below and tell me how you've been using LinkedIn and how often. Ideally, you should be using LinkedIn on a somewhat regular basis. But if you tend to ignore LinkedIn until you're on the job market, don't make the mistake of cold emailing recruiters and then desperately asking for a job. There's a right way and a wrong way to use LinkedIn to attract the attention of recruiters. Let's make sure you are doing it the right way. First of all, if you are interested in a particular job or company, you should absolutely reach out to recruiters. However, don't limit yourself just to HR. You can reach out to anyone in that company. If you want to work in the marketing department, you can connect with the marketing manager. That individual probably has some say in the hiring process or might be able to give you some pointers. But let's take a step back for a minute. Should you contact the marketing manager and say, I know there's a job open in your department and I'd love to talk to you about it? Not really. You generally want to be a little less obvious than this. A hard sell right off the bat is often not appreciated and likely won't get you a response. There are a few different ways to approach making connections on LinkedIn, whether for a specific job or just in general. First of all, research the recruiter or the person with whom you want to connect. Do you have anything in common with this individual? Maybe you went to the same university and can mention this to start a conversation. Do you know anyone else from the company? Maybe you can reach out to that person and ask for an introduction. What about their career? Read their LinkedIn profile and find something interesting upon which you can build. You might be able to use that information to say something like, I read your article on LinkedIn about time management and the challenges of working remotely. It really struck a chord with me and I'd love to learn more. Can I buy you a coffee so we can talk some more about this? With that being said, you always write a note and request a meeting. If you request a meeting, make sure you do it according to the recruiter's schedule and suggest a time frame. For instance, could we meet up for a quick coffee? I promise I won't take up more than 20 minutes of your time. This lets the new contact know how much time you are expecting to spend together. Be sure to come prepared with questions and things you would like to discuss. But bear in mind, you may not be able to cover every topic of interest to you. However, definitely have some ideas to keep the conversation going in case it turns out that your new contact isn't overly chatty. Of course, not everyone will respond to your connection request, so keep in mind that LinkedIn should be used to connect, but don't stalk. Some recruiters won't respond to your connection request. Do not take it personally. Typically, if they don't accept your connection request, there's a reason. They might be leaving the company and can't be seen as poaching talent and taking it with them. They might be on extended leave and not checking their account regularly, or they may just not want to connect with you. Regardless, if they don't connect, you will probably never know why, so don't sweat it. But in most cases, there are probably other people in the organization you can reach out to. Even if you do connect with the one person you want to know, there's no harm in connecting with others in the same organization. After all, you never know when someone will leave for whatever reason, so it's good to have some connections in place. Connect in advance of major events. Let's say you're interested in a job at X company. You are scheduled to attend a luncheon, a board meeting, a conference, some kind of event, and you know a representative, let's say the CFO from X company, is going to be there. Reach out to the CFO before the event and tell them how much you're looking forward to hearing their keynote speech. Do this at least a couple of days beforehand. This puts you on their radar, and when you approach that individual at the event, they won't be taken by surprise. I think that covers some of the most important things to keep in mind when trying to make connections with recruiters on LinkedIn. However, my final piece of advice for growing your network on LinkedIn is really to make it a priority to develop a LinkedIn presence. This doesn't need to take up a lot of time. I log on to LinkedIn each morning when I'm eating my breakfast. I make a few comments, like some posts, and occasionally send people a message to tell them I was thinking about them. And this doesn't have to be anything overly involved. Often it's along the lines of, I was watching a news program recently about volunteering. How's that community service project you were working on last time we spoke? How's that coming along? A message like that is easy, lighthearted, and shows an investment in the connection we've established. I hope these tips help you as you move forward with pursuing connections through LinkedIn. If you're interested in getting more job search and career development advice, I have a Facebook group you can join using the link below. If you like this video, please hit that like button and be sure to subscribe and share it with your friends. Thanks so much, and I'll see you in the next video.